All right, so macros are fairly straightforward to use, but they're a little bit advanced. So the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure that you have the developer option up here if it isn't already loaded. So to do that, you right click in here and you customize this ribbon, and you're gonna need to check this developer. And once you do that, that now brings up this developer spot right here. So to do a macro, let's say we were going to do something where we were going to look at how old somebody is, whether they're male or female, and we're going to have people kind of fill that out, and we want it to show up over here after each person does it. So this might not make total sense right now as I'm explaining it, but by the time I'm done, it should. So we've got somebody who's going to walk up here. They're going to put in their age. They're going to put in whether they're a male or female, and they're going to hit submit. And when that happens, we want this to start kind of populating a list over here. So what we need to do is record a macro. So we come up here to view, then we go to macros, and we do record macro. And we can call this macro 1, it's fine. Now, anytime you're recording a macro, what it's doing is recording whatever you're doing right now, and it's going to repeat that. So the first thing that we're going to do is as these new values come over here, we need to make sure the old values move down because to make room for the new values. So this might not make sense right now, but hopefully it'll make it when I'm done. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy all of this and paste it here, and that'll basically move all the data down one. Then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to copy whatever they put in here and paste it in there. Then we're going to come here, we're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it here. And then because we don't want those values showing up when the new person comes, click on this, hit delete or backspace, hit backspace, and then we'll want it to sit and start over here in this cell. So we've recorded what we want it to do, we hit stop recording. And now the macro needs to be connected to something in order to run. That's where you need this developer tab. Okay, because the developer tab is going to allow you to insert these form controls. Okay, so I usually use buttons. So click on a button and draw it right here. And we'll call this button 1 click is fine. And this is going to have, or sorry, we're going to click on macro 1 to assign this macro to that button. So anytime somebody clicks on this button, it's going to replicate that stuff that I just did. Okay, so we have that, and if we want, we can call this like, we can change this to submit. Okay, so now we have everything all set up. So first person comes up and they say, we want, I am 7 years old and I'm a female. So they put in they're 7 years old and they're a female, and they hit submit. Now it's taken that information, it's put it over here, and it's zeroed these out so the next person can come, and it shifted that down. So again, the next person comes up and they say, I'm 5 years old and I'm a male. By running this macro, it's going to take all of this information, move it down one, move this stuff over, and then delete it. So we hit it again, and again it does that. Next person comes, says they're 11 and they're female. Submit that. And so what a macro does is it just basically records whatever you do and just does that process. So they're pretty straightforward. Creating them is a little more challenging than using them, but this is running a macro right here. If I hit 3 years old and I was a female, boom, I just ran a macro. Here's the information, and now it's kind of in a way I can see it.